Hey, this is Evan with Meli, back for our monthly Q&A. Just want to take a quick second to introduce Meli. Meli was formerly Simple Sales Central Florida, and we ended up rebranding the company to the name Meli, which is short for ameliorate, which means to make better, so make something better. So in our line of business, what we do is we find houses with title issues, like probates, liens, code violations, things of that nature, and we work to fix the situations with the property. We also, of course, buy properties that are that have excessive repairs and things of that nature, but now we're really focusing on properties that have extreme title issues. It seems like a lot of the clients we work with are in that category, so we decided to just really market toward that set of people that are going through those types of situations. Like they need a probate on a property, they need a lien negotiated, or things of that nature. So that's our introduction. We'll get right into the questions. First question, what are my options if I have a really difficult problem with my home? So if you have a difficult problem with your home, what I would suggest is you can consult with an attorney and see what they think about your situation. You can also consult with home buying companies like Meli, for example. We deal with those situations. Other home buyers probably also deal with a lot of these situations. But your real options are, first off, I would definitely recommend you consult an attorney. And then you can also consult with someone like us or another home buyer that is experienced in handling situations where there is some kind of assembly title issue on the property. Next question. I tried to get a lien off my house but can't figure it out. Can you help? Yeah, of course we can. We've negotiated at this point hundreds of liens on properties amounting in millions of dollars for clients. So we would just get on a call and discuss your scenario and really try to help understand what's going on. And then we can, if it's a situation we think we can help you with, we would then look deeper into the records and see that lien filing and see exactly what they're looking for, what they're looking to get, and if it's negotiable, things of that nature. But yeah, we can definitely help. That's exactly what we are looking for, is to work with clients that are going through those types of situations. I've never heard of a probate before. What is that? So a probate is when you have a relative, let's say, for example, a parent that passes away, in order for their assets and belongings to get conveyed to the heirs, whether that be children or whomever, you have to go through a process called probate, which is essentially the legal way of showing that you have the right to inherit that deceased individual's belongings, whatever that may be, whether it be a house, whether it be cars, money, things of that nature. You would go through the legal process called probate. And during that process, it will determine that, yes, you are entitled to these items, maybe you and then your siblings or whoever are entitled to these, or in some scenarios, it will show that you are not entitled to those things, because the reason for that is to make sure that people aren't trying to inherit assets that aren't theirs, right? So people trying to maliciously take assets from a person, which I've seen. I've seen it before. I've seen people falsely say that, or create a will, or falsely say that they inherit this house when in fact they are not legally. It is not legally theirs. So those types of things do happen, and that's why probate is important, is to make sure that whoever is supposed to inherit the house actually inherits it. How can I sell a house if it's inherited in probate? So what you would do in that scenario, it's pretty simple. What would be, even if it's in the probate process, you can still go ahead and sell it. You would just go under contract with a home buyer, and they would buy the property whenever the probate was through. What I've seen over and over again is people trying to do probates by themselves, and it's never ended well. But people try to do it because they think they're saving money. But ultimately, what ends up happening is they don't understand the law well enough. They don't file the right documents. And they essentially end up with an unofficial probate that doesn't convey the property correctly. And in those scenarios, you have to go back and fix it. Or what can end up happening is they end up spending a lot more money on attorney's fees to clear up the title issues that they've created. So to sell a house that's in probate, hopefully you've got an attorney and you're trying to go through that process. You would just sign a contract with someone that's looking to buy the property and close on it. That's really all there is to it. There's not a huge process. So once that probate is finished, if it's done properly, you would then just proceed to closing. Next question. How should I start trying to fix the title issues on my home? Yeah, so I would just highly recommend that you reach out to an attorney, and also you could reach out to a company like Meli, if not Meli, and they will discuss with you the issues, see if it's something that they can help you with. An attorney will be able to try to help you. The only thing doing it with an attorney alone is they're going to be able to walk you through and get you through that process in most scenarios. But maybe they have to have a retainer for their work, or maybe they can get you through the scenario and negotiate through a scenario. But by the time you pay them for their time, it's not worth it, things of that nature. So you have to understand, you have to think about what, in your scenario, if it's really worth it. I mean, if the attorney can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, then you should just, consult the attorney. But if not, then, someone like Meli can help fix those title issues. And we don't do it for a fee up front or anything of that nature, and just fix the scenario, whatever that scenario is. And then ultimately we would either buy the house from you or help you. We would list it for you and broker it and get it sold. How can I resolve a tax lien on my home? Depending on what type of tax lien it is. So if it's a property tax lien, then you would have to just go pay it. So if you owe $5,000, you would just go to the county and the municipality and just pay it. If it's an IRS lien, then you would, and just to go back, property taxes are non-negotiable. You cannot negotiate those down. Now, if it's an IRS lien, those are negotiable. Depending on your situation, you can go try to negotiate those down. And then ultimately come to a price for that lien that you would negotiate through. And you can negotiate the lien and sell the property simultaneously. So essentially it'll take anywhere from 60, 90, 120 days to negotiate those liens with the IRS. And then you can have that negotiation, you can have that payoff for that negotiated payoff. Let's say it was 100,000 and you negotiated down to 80,000. You can have that payoff ready for the closing. I guess that's all I can think of as far as tax liens. But those two types of liens, with the property tax lien, you can't negotiate those. And what you would ultimately do is you would, if you didn't have the money, a lot of times people would just end up selling it. What you don't want to do is wait until the last minute and try to sell it, because that property is going to go to a tax deed sale. And if you wait till the last minute, sometimes the sale may not go through fast enough for everything to be stopped. You just want to be very careful. If you're within 30 days or less, you really need to move quickly. Make sure that you avoid that. We've had situations where we paid for the taxes before closing to make sure that the property wasn't sold, or it wasn't sold at tax deed sale. So there was a property, I think they owed like 6,000 tax liens, and we went and paid them before the closing. So we saved the property and ended up ultimately buying it a few days later. What do I need to do to sell my house if it has code violations on it? So with code violations, it could be a couple different things. So it can be active violations, and then it can be code violation liens. So if it's an active violation, you have a couple different options. One, you can fix that situation. Let's say it's something simple like you haven't mowed your grass. Then you just mow the grass, and then you could go to the code violation authority and code enforcement and tell them, hey, I mowed my grass, please drop this. And then they'll typically drop it. Maybe you may have to pay a small fine for that. And then you would be able to sell the property. Now, the other option is some people will buy the property with the code violation. Let's say it's an active violation for maybe there's a structural issue with the property, and somehow you got a code violation. Some people will just buy it with the code violation, the active code violation, using what's called a hold harmless, which holds them, which says, I know that there's a code violation on this property, I'm still going to close. And then with code violation liens, you'd either fix the situation and then pay the lien. So let's say it was because you hadn't mowed your grass, you could then go mow that would be unusual because it takes a while to get the lien. But let's say you hadn't mowed your grass in a year, and then you got your grass mowed, you could then go to the code enforcement and say, I've now mowed the grass. I know I owe $15,000 in code violations. I'm going to pay those and settle. And so, so in that scenario, you can do that, or you can have people, home buyers, that will close with the code violation liens, which is very uncommon for people to do. We do it. We'll do it on properties, but a lot of buyers will not do it until those code violations are cleared up. So that's ultimately what you do is you either sell it as is with a hold harmless, with the liens or with the violation, or you fix the situation and then sell it. So it's really up to you. Ultimately, you may make more money on the property if you clear up the violation. It just depends on what time and money you can put into fixing the situation. Is it possible to sell a house without title issues? Yes, it is very possible to sell a house with title issues. So it depends on what kind of title issue it is. If it's a probate and there's unclear title, it's going to be pretty difficult. A lot of people will not buy it. We would buy something like that, but most people will not. If it's something like a lien, like we just talked about, maybe someone would buy it. If it's a situation where you're buying out a partial share of a property, then there are some buyers that would probably do something like that. So yeah, it is possible. It would just depend on your situation. You would just need to talk with a buyer and see what they're comfortable with doing and see if it's a good fit. How does a consultation with Meli work? So what we do is you can give us a call, or you can reach out on the website, melihomes.com, and then let us know what's going on with your situation, and we'll take a few minutes and just talk you through it and see if it's something that we can work with you on. And if it is, we will, we could either make an offer on the house to buy it or end up listing it, or just do a straight consultation where you just, if we decided to work together, we would say, hey, it's gonna cost $1,000 for us to go take all the time to negotiate this lien or negotiate this or that or fix this dispute, and then we would agree, okay, in exchange for this fee, we will do those services. So yeah, that's essentially it. Next question: how can you list my home if it has title issues? Well, typically you don't. A lot of people won't. So what we would ultimately do is we would fix the title issues for you and then list it. Or we can list the property while it has title issues and then be fixing those title issues while we're negotiating a sale of the property. So maybe it takes us 60 days to fix the title issues. During that time, we will find a buyer for the property if we were to list it for you. So that's how we've done it in the past, and so it's worked out really well. We've done probates where we're simultaneously doing the probate, getting through it, and as we're getting through it, we are finding a buyer for you and having that sale ready to go as soon as the probate's done. So are there any other questions? Check the comments. I don't see any comments. As always, thank you very much for listening to this. I hope it was informative. You can give us a call at 407-338-4183. That will get you through to our phone answering service, and they will take your information. And then also, if you want to call, you can request Evan, that's me. You can request Evan Shelley directly, and they will transfer you to me, and that'll get you right to my cell if you want to go that route. And then I'll get back to you as soon as possible. You can also go to our website at melihomes.com and answer a few questions, and that will help us determine what's going on with your property. So yeah, that's it for our September Q&A with Meli Homebuyer Brokerage and Consultant. Feel free to reach out, and we'll try to help you as much as we can. Thank you.